Thank you. Again, I'm resharing my screen. So before going into that, do you guys have any questions on the previous topics? That is, yesterday I explained the aggregation and group by pivot in the table. So were you able, did you guys already started practicing that?
Yes, Vikrant.
Yeah. So in the Kaggle also you will get good data sets. Okay. So you can just take that as a reference. So there you can find Python codes. Try to mimic the same thing in PySpark, like how we can do it in how they did it in Python, how you are going to do it in PySpark. That is actually matters. Like how we were going to migrate, how we are going to replicate the same thing by your own. Okay, so this is the best practice to do to learn this PySpark very well. Okay, so today I'm going to teach you on manipulating data in data frames. Let's say we have data that is not yet clean. Okay, so data cleaning is not only required for a machine learning actually. So in the data engineering also we need this data cleaning just because this Python is like very case sensitive, right? This programming is in a very case sensitive. So what happened if you are not at clean, if you are not at bring your data into a good right format, then it is not going to identify the right values. So it is simply going to give some wrong predictions, wrong results, or wrong calculations. So in that case, you guys needs to bring your data into a right format. Okay, how we can do that? What are the possible, like, what are the methods? What are the function we should use? In PySpark SQL, we have so many functions to achieve these things. So I'm going to show some of those functions and like how we can use it in data frames. Okay, so for that, before going into that, so anyhow we are working in Databricks, so let's connect the resources, like that is cluster. It's connected. So in this lecture, we will learn how to manipulate data in data frames. You will need these techniques to accomplish some of the following tasks. What are those? First one is change data type when they are incorrectly interrupted. I think you guys have already had a good understanding, good knowledge on changing the data types, how we can change it, and clean your data. Next, create new columns, renaming the columns, extract or create new values. Okay, so I hope you guys have already have a good understanding of all these tasks. Like I have already shown like how we can create a new column, renaming the column. Okay, how we can clean that I can show it. Okay, and changing the data type. So it's just actually some of few of the tasks are you can take that as an what I can say additional things, and then yeah. So this plugs anyhow. I'm repeating the same word. If you are running this notebook on local environment, you can start executing this block. Otherwise, you can skip this execution. Okay, so you don't need to run this code block in Databricks. You can directly call Spark. Okay, very firstly, what are the whatever the data like you are using, you need to upload that into DBFS, the database. Then you need to connect the data into your working environment. So this data set is also available with this Kaggle. Okay, so you can directly go here and log in with your credential and download the data if you don't have this data set. That is YouTube videos. Okay, so if the data is in your local under this folder, you can execute this code blocks. Otherwise, I'll show. Very firstly, need to upload the data. So I'm just going to upload the table, documents. This is not the one. It's for tutorials and the notebooks and the data sets. And here I should have YouTube videos. Where is that? Yeah, here it is. So it's 62.8 MB. So please be patient and please be wait to upload. It's a big data set. It's a quite big data, not that much. So meanwhile, we can discuss on any other, like if you have any questions related to the PySpark. Do you guys have any? Okay, no, come on. 50% is done. Okay, actually, year ago I had done a big something textile and remove. So you can unmute yourself and you can talk on that if you want. Okay. Okay, we're a bit familiar with Scala Spark. Okay, nice. Actually, the best programming for the Spark is Scala only. So Spark supports for nearly 4 languages. One is Python, R, and Scala and SQL. So if you are using Python with Spark, we call it as a PySpark. If you are using Scala, that we can call it as a Scala Spark. And if you are using R program on the Spark cluster, we are call it as a Spark R. And if you are using SQL, that we can call it as a Spark SQL. Okay, so you can run programming languages only on Spark clusters. Okay. Okay, I think it's done. So I'm just going to copy this path, and again I'm going to that notebook. Yes. Okay. So path is equals to this. Just taking the same code to read it. It is nothing but exact path I have provided. Okay, it's done. Execute this line of code. It's executing. Come on. All the Sparks jobs are executing. Yes, this is done. Okay. Now, let's view the data, how it looks very fast. This is how the data looks. Video ID, trending ID, and the title, channel title, and category. So this is all about like YouTube videos, some channel ID, subscription, like how many, like counts, this count of views, and likes, dislikes, views, tags, and description, and commenting for that video or rating of video. So this data set contains all these informations. Okay, so in this data we have also add, because this is a text data and this is the random, like what I can say, streaming data, right? Each and every day the data getting updated each and every moment, so this data set may contain some of the raw information. Okay, so now let's check the schema as well. Here, video ID. So video ID values, it could be string, it's correct. Video ID is string. Trending date. This is the type by default, the type assigned as a string while reading the data, so that we need to change this data type as well. So can change the data type. So on category ID, this looks, it's an integer data type, but here it's a string. So we need to redesign the schema with the correct data type. Okay, how we can do that? Available data types are, these are the available data types. Okay, with PySpark.sql.types, we have these many data types. Data type, null type, string type, binary, boolean, date type, timestamp type, decimal type, double type, float type, byte, integer, long, short, array type, mapping type, struct field, and struct type. Okay, we can use these data types to get the right schema out of that. Okay, but this is the example, and I have already given a good examples like how we can change the data types. Okay, and adding a new columns to data frame or override them, how we can do that? So example, adding a new column. So you can use df dot with column. You need to provide a new column name. Okay, and the column object, that is column age. Come on, column age into 2. So this values is getting assigned to this variable, this field. Overwriting the existing column means you need to provide the same column, then it is getting overwritten with the updated values. Okay, this is the this is just a quick recap on how we can use this with column. Okay, I have already given a good examples on with column. So let's import the data types. Okay, it's already imported, like I've already imported all these data types, all the functions and the data types. Okay, so here you can see this is how we can change the data types of each columns. Video start with column. The column name, here we need to overwrite it because we need to change the data type of the existing column. We don't need to create another variable with the right data type. Okay, so for the existing column only, we need to reassign, we need to change the data type of that. Okay, this is the column, and for this column only, I'm going to overwriting with using the cast. This is the data type. Okay, so this is how you can use integer type and to date. So you can see trending date. So for 2 days, so to date is the function. Okay, so it's a PySpark.sql function. It is one of the function available with the SQL functions. You can use this to date function. So here you can see the argument. The first argument will be the column object. The second argument will be the format. What is the format of your day values? It should be date, month, year, or month, date, year. Based on the countries, this is getting changed. Okay, in our country we are maintaining date, month, year, but in US they are maintaining month, date, and year, like that. Okay, in some other countries first they are using year, month, date, so something like that. So you can provide the right format and right assign. Okay, so then yeah, publish time. This is another one, publish time. You can use to timestamp. So that is also one of the function. You can use to timestamp the value and the format. Like here you can see year, month, date, hour, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. So in this format, you can assign your data and do the necessary operations on these columns. Okay, so I'm going to execute this line of code. Yeah, so once it is executed, you can just check the changes. Trending date is become date column, and publishing time is become timestamp column, and rest all like as it is. And views, like these are the integer columns, right? Views, how many views, it's a integer values, views, likes, and all. So this is how you can change the data type of that. So renaming the column, you can use with column renamed. This function, instead of using with column, you can use with column rename and the older name and new name. First argument will be older name, second argument will be new name. Okay, so in this way you can rename the columns as well. So this, I think I already explained on the same, so I'll not going to spend much time on this. Now let's see, clean the data. All right, so we see that the publish time variable could not be converted to timestamp. Publish time, because it has those strange called t and z values. T is nothing but a time and Z is nothing but a zone. Okay. So in the data extraction, they're maintaining some keywords like that. So we need to remove that. We need to replace the T with a space and Z with a space. We need to basically we need to remove those two keywords to bring the data into right format. How we can do that? So for that, we can use regex function. Regex means, so in the regular expression replace, we can provide the string, pattern, and replacement. So on which string or for which pattern, which replacement you need. Okay. So now let's explore these kinds of functions as well, like regular expressions as well. PySpark.sql.function. So these are the two functions on PySpark, that is regular expression replace, regular expression extract. Okay, so let me execute. This is done. So this is the one of the example. In that column we have this data where we have the rows with these values, like 2017 year, month, and date, that is next t. Okay, then 17, 13, and this seconds and milliseconds, then after that zone. So we need to replace this t and we need to remove this t and z. How we can do that? So yeah, so here you can see I'm not going to overwrite, so I'm just going to create a new column just to showcase how it is working. Okay, df.with column, I'm just creating in a publish time to using regular expression, the which the first argument is right. This is column first time, pattern is t. So we need to replace the t with space because it is at the mid, right? So I need a space between a year and the time. So I just replacing t with then a t. Publish to for the same column. Once this is created in this line, I'm just going to overwriting the same column. So z without any space. Why? Because it is at the end. I don't need any extra spaces or trailing spaces. So that's why I'm adding spaces. After that, I'm just converting that into 2 timestamp with this format. Okay. So now I'm going to select only these 3 columns to see the changes. Okay. So this is how much, this is how it is helpful, like with column arguments. Okay. It's executed. Now let's check. See the older column. What happened to this? No, it should not be. Come on. Again, I'm going to read the data, some glitch happened. See guys, so because of that string, this data is not converted into right format. Like you can see publish time, it is showing NAT something. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to bring that into right format, then you can casting it. So I'm executing this line now. This is done again. Okay, so I can comment this one. Yeah, here guys, you can see here, this is the base column publish time. Here we have t and z. So here we are removed the t and z as well, and now you can see the data in this right format. Okay, this is the major difference which you can observe with the raw data and the updated data. So now for this column, you can convert into a timestamp, but you cannot convert this column into timestamp. The reason because you guys have this extra keyword, that is t and z. Okay, this is the one of the function. This is the one situation and one of the function. How we can use regular expressions. Okay, then translate function. So we can achieve the same thing with a translate function as well. How we can do that? So here I'm just executing this functions as an F instead of installing all the functions. So this is the different way of working. Okay, so but all are same. Df dot selecting, I'm publishing time. F dot translate, I'm just calling this function, that is translate. Okay, so here it is asking the column, which column, F dot call. So this function is creating this object, public time column object. Okay, once it is done, so I'm just going to replacing T and Z with space. Okay, dot alias. Alias is nothing but it's just giving some different names. Okay, instead of giving some different name, I'm going to give my name. So translate function works like how it works. So here you can see the same thing which you can achieve by using translate function as well, instead of using what you can say, instead of using um, regular expressions. Okay, then next trim function. One common function you are probably seen in most trim. Trim you guys have already used in Python as well. How we can remove the extra spaces in your text column. Okay, how we can do that. So here also we have text column, that is title. How we can trim, like remove the unwanted spaces. So here also you can use the same thing, df dot with column. Title is the column name and trim is the function. F dot trim also you can use, or you can directly import this trim of this column df dot title. So this is going to remove the entire, like what I can say, this is going to remove the all the unwanted spaces. Okay, so then along with that you can also have left trim. It is just going to remove the trailing spaces on the left side, and R trim, it is just going to remove the trailing spaces on the right side. Trim is nothing but it's just going to remove the spaces between left and right both. Okay, in Python also we have this, like in Python we have strip function. So strip, L strip, R strip kind of thing. So but here it is different. Like we are using trim PySpark function, that is trim function. Let me execute this line of code to check whether it works or not. So it's just removed all the unwanted spaces in between, like left and right side of the text. Okay, so far so clear. Okay, then how we can convert all the text into lowercase. So here you can see, so some text is in uppercase, some text is in the lowercase, some text is in um in camel case. So in that, how we can deal with these kinds of text? Because for Python, if we have lowercase Rudy and this text, it is different. So we need to convert this text into lowercase, then we can compare, or then we can work on the same. How we can do that? So lower, we have function as well. That is PySpark SQL function. You can call that with an f dot lower, or you can directly import that as an import PySpark.sql.functions. Sorry, from SQL, from PySpark.sql dot functions import lower. So you can call that function. You can create that, or you can overwriting it. We are just converting that into a uppercase, right, or lowercase, right? We can just do that. This is how it works. Like that, we have upper as well, like lower and upper. So these functions are the very most and widely using functions in data transformations. Next, we have a case when condition. So let's say if you want to do a mapping with based on, so for that we have when condition with the functions. So always, like if you want to do any transformations, we are going to use these functions only, PySpark SQL functions. Okay, so here you can see we need to check, we need to create a favorability column. The use case is we need to create a favorability column based on the likes only, right? If the likes are more, then it is saying that good. If unlikes or dislikes are more, then it is saying bad. If it is both are equal, then we can resulting would be average, like. So that's the idea. So then how we can do that? So we are just selecting these two columns, okay, and another column could be df dot select likes column, dislike columns, and another column could be when. So I'm just using the condition when df dot likes is greater than df dot dislike. So argument when can be accepting, first argument will be condition, second argument will be value. Okay, df dot likes greater than dislikes, then written as a good dot. Again, when df dot likes is less than df dot dislikes, then return it as a bad dot. Otherwise condition also we have otherwise undetermined, and that alias has favorability. The column name should be going to be favorability. Okay, so when condition is very bit tricky, and it is also very most important function which you guys should understand, which you guys should know. This is the small example, like right, create a column with the conditions. Okay, so in that, did you guys understand like how we can use this when conditions? So in the same way, you guys can also use like SQL expressions as well. Instead of going to use directly function, you can also use expression. This is the option too. Okay, df dot select. We are selecting these two column. Another column could be you can use expression function. So there we are just mentioning case when likes greater than dislikes, when then good, when case less than dislikes, then bad, else undetermined, and as favorability. This is like just a text we are providing, and this text is getting converted into expression with the expr function. Okay, this is another way of doing that. And next way, you can directly use select expression. Okay, df dot select expression likes, dislikes. Instead of calling this expression here, so can copy the same thing. Case when likes greater than dislikes, then good. When likes is less than dislikes, then bad. Else undetermined, and as favorability. And as favorability means alias. Return the results with the favorability column name. Okay, so all these three. Okay, is that clear? Okay, then if you want to, let's say the another function will be concatenate. I'm giving in a good example that you have a two columns, that is first name and the last name. You want to create a column like with the two information. If you want to create a full name variable, you need to concatenate first column and the second column, right, with separator like xyz and abc. So xyz underscore abc. So this is the full name. So how we can do that? So we have, that is also a PySpark SQL function, that is concatenation, concat underscore WS. So there you can provide, first argument will be separator, second will be the column names to concatenate. Let's go with good example, concatenation. Okay, so here almost we are using select. Okay, why? Because we are not creating any data, and here the separator will be space. Instead of going within a slash or underscore, I'm just going within a space. Df dot title, concatenation of that. Df dot title, df dot channel title, and df dot tags. Okay, so here you can see we want to talk about our marriage, and then Casey yesterday and this text. 1, 2, 3. The 3 columns information is concatenating with the space and that alias as text. Okay, I'm just showcasing only one row of the text. This is how you can concatenate one or two column, multiple columns. You can just create another, you can just give a multiple columns. Okay, that is actually star columns. So you don't need to provide a list of columns. If you have a list of column, you can provide a star and list of column. If your arguments are not in the list, you can just directly provide the column names one by one with the comma separated values. Is that clear? Okay, cool. Then next, if you want to extract any year or date, year or month information from date column, how we can extract? So we have an year functions called year and month. So if the data set, if the column type is date type, then you can easily extract the year and the month. Okay, so year, you can use that function year of the trending date alias as year and month of trending date. So it is saying that from this column we need a year information and the month information. Okay, so this column should be date type. If it is a string, these functions can't work on that. This should be a right data type, then only you can extract that information. So you can easily say that the year column and the month column based on the trending date. Okay, cool. Then if you want to create where it is, yeah, if you want to create a difference between the two dates, okay, so you can usually use date difference function. Okay, so select these two columns. I need to create a date difference between these two columns. Date difference, trending date and publishing time difference. Okay, divided by 365. Per year, we have 365 days and name it alias as a difference. So this is difference it is giving. So if you want to convert that into a days, you can just divide by 365. Okay, so date difference, if you want to know the date difference between the two date columns, you can extract that information as well. Okay, and then split in the sense, if you have a text, okay, so if you want to convert the text into list with different values with the particular separator, you guys can also do the same thing by using a split function. That is a split function from Python. Sorry, split function from the PySpark SQL. Okay, so let's see the example. So first argument will be, we want to talk about our marriage. Okay, so if I provide that title with the splitting of the space, then what happened? This entire things gets converted into list within a comma separated value. With it is this text is getting splitted wherever we have space. See, so which text you want, you can use it. So the data type is become here, it is array of string. So why? Because it's an array, right? In PySpark, we call this as an array. We are not going to call this as a list. We are calling this as an array of strings. This is about the split function. Then how we can use, say, if we have let's say like we have a function in Python. You guys already got to know that how we can create a Python functions and how we can use it. But in PySpark, how we can use the same functions. Let's say if some logic is can't be developed on Python, on PySpark, you can also use Python functions as well, Python logics as well. How? You can use UDF, user defined function. You can call this is one of the function in PySpark SQL. You can use UDF. So you can convert your Python functions into UDF. Then you can use that UDFs into, you can apply that UDF into your logic. Okay. I'll just give a good example of that. I'm just importing the UDF and the integer type. Why? Because UDF function require return data type of that. Okay, so let's say diff. This is a square function. Okay, what is the square doing? It's just multiplication of the same number, right? Square function like x to the power of 2, x to the power of 2 kind of thing. So this is a looks Python function. How we can convert this into UDF? So call this UDF function, and inside of that you can call your what you can say the function. So I'm just creating a lambda function and square of z, I'm calling that function. So any values which you are providing, any values which like any row, you can say that. So here it is like it's a distributed system, right? You cannot do the certain operation for only one row or two row. You need to provide the complete data set for that to do the transformations. So once you provide the data here, so each and every row getting converted into the square of that, like based on the function. The second argument will be integer type. So it is the returning type. So we know that this is going to return the integers only. So that type is integer type. So now df.select dislike the square UDF and the column name. This is the UDF. So inside of the UDF, so which function, so which column, the Z, which column values you need to do the squaring of that, alias as that. Okay, dot. Again, we have where condition as well, like where and all you need to do the squaring. If you are not providing this where condition, then what happen if you have any null values in the dislike? In that time, it is just throwing an error like you cannot convert that null into square. So for that only, here we are using, come on. Here we are just using where condition. This dislike column is not null. So in this condition only do this operation. Otherwise, just write as it is. Like if it is a null, write the null as it is. So in this way also you can use UDF. So here in the one block, you guys get to know the usage of where function and as well as UDFs. Okay, so those are the good commonly using PySpark SQL functions in PySpark day-to-day life. Okay, so these are the most commonly used functions in the data engineering industry and big database, especially on the data pipelines creations, because always the data coming from the source is not good. So in that case, we are just converting and we are just checking the data and creating in a pipeline and transformations out of that. Is that clear? Okay, cool. So I'm taking a pause for today. So I hope this today's session is quite interesting and most helpful. The reason because I have given good examples and good functions on that. So you can start exploring those functions within a different data set and the different use cases and different problem solving situations. Okay. So until that time, tomorrow again I'm going to taking the class. So until that time, have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.